So today we have to speak in Hindi or English? Hindi. Hindi or English? English. Okay, so it seems English has majority. So there are some people who can understand both. There are some people who can understand only one. So that's why we have to manage with something which both can understand. Fine. So there is a story which we have heard many times. So there is a story of a Brahmana and a cobbler, which we have heard since our first year of Krishna consciousness, and we know this story very well. But still, I would like to repeat it. The story of Brahmana and the cobbler and Narad Muni. So there was a Brahmana who was a very big person, and he had many disciples. He was a great scholar, and he was a very big guru, and many people were following him. And so one day, Narad Muni happened to visit this Brahmana, and this Brahmana welcomed Narad Muni, and they had a very wonderful interaction. When Narad Muni was about to leave, so Brahmana had some curiosity. So in earlier times, people were knowing the basic things which currently people don't know. Everyone was knowing that we don't belong to this world. Sometimes when we tell people about soul, so they say, from where soul comes? Where is the soul? Kahan se aaya hai? It's from in this world, right? So they were knowing everything. So they said, the Brahmana said that, where are you going? He said, I am going to meet Lord Vishnu. Then he said, okay, you are going to meet Lord Vishnu. So please ask him when I will go back to him. Right? So this was his question. And then Narad Muni, he happened to meet one cobbler also. Cobbler also was a great devotee. And the great Vaishnavas, they don't distinguish between rich and poor. For them, everyone is poor because everyone is lacking Krishna consciousness, right? So richness and poor, it doesn't depends upon money. It depends upon whether you have Krishna consciousness or not. Because if you are having Krishna consciousness, you are actually rich. And no matter how much ever money you have, if you don't know Krishna, then you are the most poverty-stricken person in this world. So he went there, and cobbler also welcomed him very nicely. And then Narad Muni was about to leave. And then cobbler also asks him that, Narad Muni, you are going to meet Lord Vishnu. Please ask him when I will go back to him. Right? So then Narad Muni kept wandering, spreading the glories of the Supreme Lord. And then he happened to meet Lord Vishnu. And then there was a, Narad Muni gave all reports of the preaching, what he is doing. And then he asked that I met a Brahmana, and he was asking that when he will come back to you. And I also met a cobbler. He was also asking when he will come back to you. So Lord Vishnu smiled, and then he said, this Brahmana, he will take several lifetimes to come back to me. So Narad Muni was shocked. And then he said, what about this cobbler? He said, he will come back to me in this lifetime only. So Narad Muni was like, what is this? This person, he has so many disciples. So many people are following him, worshipping him. He is a big guru. He gives big lectures. Why he will not come back to you? So Lord Vishnu was smiling. He said, Arey, this cobbler, he doesn't know much philosophy. Right? He seems to be a very simple man. Right? He may just be chanting your holy names. So then Lord Vishnu says, he says, okay, if you want to know why I am saying this, so go and ask both of them. And go and tell both of them. When they ask you that, okay, what Lord Vishnu was doing when you met him, so you should say that he was trying to pass an elephant through the eye of a needle. Right? Now we all know about the eye of the needle. Right? When we try to pass, what to say of passing an elephant? When we just try to pass a thread through the eye of the needle, our eye gets strained a lot. Right? Our eye gets strained. We cannot pass it through easily. Right? So what to say of passing an elephant through the eye of the needle? And then Narad Muni, he went and he met this Brahmana. And then Brahmana had a discussion, and then he said, by the way, Narad Muni, did you check with Lord Vishnu when I am going back to him? Sometimes people ask certain things so as they can induce the person in front of them to appreciate them. Right? Sometimes people have this tendency. How many of you have observed this? People have this tendency. They will ask certain things, certain questions because they want praise. Because everyone has this innate tendency of being, they want appreciation. They want that attention. Right? So then he said, by the way, you met him. What did he say? He was expecting a very positive reply because he was thinking, I am such a big person. So many people are following him. And Narad Muni says that actually, my dear friend, Lord Vishnu said that it will take several lifetimes for you to go back to him. And this person, he became very angry. He felt offended. And he said, I don't think you have ever met Lord Vishnu. Right? You are just telling the lie. And you should go back. I don't want you. Just get out of my place. And I don't know why I talked to you and why I met you. Right? I am better sadhu than you. Right? And then he just asked him to leave. And then he was leaving. He said, by the way, if you really met him, can you tell what he was doing? So Narad Muni said that actually Lord Vishnu was trying to pass an elephant through the eye of the needle. This Brahmana got shock of his life. He said, really, my doubt is now, I'm convinced that you have never met Lord Vishnu. Because Lord Vishnu can, this is impossible. What is this? And then he just asked Narad Muni to leave. And then he went to the cobbler. And cobbler welcomed Narad Muni very respectfully. And then he worshipped him and everything. And then he asked, by the way, when you met Lord Vishnu, what did he say? He said, you will go back home in this lifetime only. Cobbler became so grateful. He started crying tears. And he was like in ecstasy. He was feeling so grateful. Right? And then he said, okay, you met, what was Lord doing? He said, Lord was passing an elephant through the eye of the needle. And then he started further crying. Narad Muni was shocked. He said, do you have faith in this? That Lord was passing an elephant through the eye of the needle? He said, yes, my Lord can do anything. If he can put such a big giant tree in a small seed, so why he can't pass an elephant through the eye of the needle? Right? Many times people would come and challenge Srila Prabhupada. They would say, can God create a stone or something which he cannot lift? Right? So it was like the jugglery of words. But Prabhupada was super smart. So Prabhupada would say, yes, he can create and then he can lift also. Right? So I should say the entire ISKCON movement is based on this simple fact that Krishna is inconceivable and his potencies are inconceivable. Because Krishna can do anything. Right? And that's why all devotees, as devotees, we should have that faith that Krishna can do anything. Krishna is inconceivable and his potencies are inconceivable. When we talk of inconceivable, it means that he can do anything. We cannot understand. Right? It cannot fit in our understanding and our conceptions. But Krishna is all powerful. He can manifest anything. He can do anything. So that is what is the thing. And here Narad Muni, when he saw the inconceivable potencies of Krishna, we may get surprised. We may get surprised, right? How can a person, he is simultaneously present at so many places and he is doing so many things, different type of things at the same time. When Max Muller and his friends, they came. So they started interpreting the Vedas and then they started wrongly interpreting everything. Right? They started saying, okay, how can God be a fish? So maybe your conception of God is like that God is limited by certain things. But our conception, our understanding of God is complete. Our God is unlimited. He can do anything. Right? If he can create fish, he can become fish also, right? And what is so great about it? There is not such a big deal about it, right? So that's why many times people, they misinterpret the Vedas. When they hear about all these things, they feel, oh, these things are mythology, right? The problem is not in the Vedas. The problem is not in the Bhagavatam. Problem is in their understanding. Problem is in their faith. They don't have the required faith. When Srila Prabhupada, he went to the West, can you imagine what type of faith he must be having? What type of faith he must be having on the words of his spiritual master? Because going alone, that too at the age of 70, no one, you may find many people doing adventurous journeys to many places. They do that, right? And many people are famous for that. But no one does it at the age of 70. 70 is not the age of adventure. It is the age of retirement, where people look forward to settle down at some place and just focus. If he is spiritual, then he will focus on chanting the holy names. He will not like to go for some adventure or something, right? So Prabhupada, when he went, it was inconceivable. The journey was inconceivable, right? Who can imagine? First of all, who can think of going? Prabhupada thought of going. Prabhupada had so much faith in the words of his spiritual master. He said, my spiritual master has said, let me at least try it. Right? It's my duty to try to fulfill the wish of the spiritual master. Whether success comes or not, it is not my business. Right? Srila Prabhupada was trying for 40 years, but nothing could shake his faith. Right? His faith was never shaken. And for 40 years, there was not much success. Here, like I was discussing with some devotees, here it's like a gold mine. Nowadays, people have become quite spiritual. You can speak direct philosophy to them. And you touch it, you just little bit try it, you just give them little Krishna consciousness, they are in. They start accepting Krishna consciousness. So for us, we start getting instant results. We need that motivation. But for Prabhupada, no results. Only discouragement. Many people discouraged him and the results were not encouraging. He did several endeavors. In Jhansi, he started League of Devotees. The place where he started, that place itself was taken away. Right? So his thinking itself is inconceivable. It means Srila Prabhupada had tremendous faith in Krishna and in the words of the spiritual master. Because a devotee, he always have that faith that everything is possible by the will of Krishna. Just by serving Krishna, everything is possible. Nothing is impossible. And if Krishna wills, everything can happen. Right? So then Srila Prabhupada took that journey, and the journey was also inconceivable. An old man in the ship. And the ship, because of the ocean water, right? It has this, tides in the ocean water. So that's why the ship keeps shaking. And because of that, people get sea sickness. Right? So Srila Prabhupada also got that at the age of 70. He had 2 heart attacks in the ship itself. Right? With no one to take care. Can you imagine? We get little viral fever here and there, and no one is there to pay attention. Someone didn't come to ask us about our prasadam. We get disturbed. Right? We get disturbed. We need that thing. Right? But for Prabhupada, who was there? There was no sick department. Right? There were no devotees at all. He was alone on his own. He could not even share. For us, we immediately start sending text. We become sick. We start sending text to our parents, to devotees that I am sick. I need help. During that time, nothing was there in the mid of the sea. And there was no surety whether he will survive or not. Just got the heart attack. Not once, twice. Right? And then he had the vision of Krishna and all the avatars of Krishna, and they all said, we are with you. And Srila Prabhupada had that faith. Right? And then, so this journey itself was inconceivable. And Srila Prabhupada pens down his memories or whatever he was thinking in all his diary. Right? And then he reaches America, without any money, going to a foreign land where you don't have anything. You just have 40 rupees. What is the value of 40 rupees? Now it may be much lesser. During that time also it was not so significant. What is the value of 40 rupees in American currency? Right? So he was not sure. Nowadays when we go somewhere, we start calling. Okay, are you there to receive me? I am coming. This time I am reaching. So please be there. And then if he is not there, we call him. Okay, where are you? Are you coming in 10 minutes, 15 minutes? Srila Prabhupada had no communication. He had no one to, means he was not knowing whether someone will come to actually receive him or not. And he says that when he got down from the ship, he was not knowing whether to turn right or to turn left. Right? And then somehow one person came to receive him. He was a travel agent, and then he took him to 𝐂𝐻𝐈𝐍 Agarwal's place. And then Srila Prabhupada struggled for 1 year without much results. Right? Every time Srila Prabhupada would think, okay, now if results don't come, I will have to leave. I tried enough. I will have to leave. Right? So Srila Prabhupada had that thinking. But then Srila Prabhupada would wait. He said, let me try little more, let me try little more. And then he had this historic kirtan at Tompkins Square Park. And then after that, many devotees started joining. And then this ISKCON movement started flourishing like anything. So, Srila Prabhupada, once he was sitting with one person, and this person was also an elderly person. And they started discussing, and this person asked, okay, what is your movement all about? So Srila Prabhupada, during that time nothing was there. Srila Prabhupada says, this movement, it has thousands of temples and restaurants, Gurukul, everything. The complete vision was clear. And without even anything manifested, that time nothing was there. He said, there are so many temples, thousands of devotees following Krishna consciousness, right? Chanting, people all over the world practicing Krishna consciousness, practicing the philosophy of Srimad Bhagvatam and Bhagavad Gita. So many restaurants, Gurukuls, right? He said everything. So Srila Prabhupada had that faith that by the inconceivable will of Krishna, everything can get manifested. Right? Once one god brother of Srila Prabhupada, he commented on Prabhupada that many people tried going to West and preaching Krishna consciousness. Only one person could become successful, and many of them, they went and they thought of changing themselves. Right? And they could not, they somehow little bit ended up changing themselves, but they could not change the foreigners. Once one person, he asked one devotee before Srila Prabhupada, who went to foreign land, he said, what is your Krishna consciousness all about? I want to become a Brahmana. Can you make me? He said, yes, it is very easy. He said, what I am supposed to do? He said, all you are supposed to do is leave meat eating, gambling, intoxication, and no wrong connection with women. That's it. Just leave it. He said he got a shock of his life. He said, impossible. For me, this is what is life. If this is removed from the life, then nothing is there. Sometimes people, when they come here in devotee association, and I have experienced sometimes, they come here and they see, everywhere Krishna, Krishna. Everywhere Krishna, Krishna. Everywhere Krishna, Krishna. Sometimes people come for the different youth camps. So, subah se leke raat tak only Krishna. So they start feeling suffocated. They start feeling lonely. उनकी सांस रुकने लग जाती है. बोलते कितना होगा भाई, कितना कृष्णा कृष्णा, थोड़ा सा कुछ और भी होना चाहिए. Right? So anyhow, yes, definitely people may not be able to digest immediately. So this person said, for me, this is my life. I cannot leave it. It is impossible. Forget about it. I don't want to become a Brahmana. You remain. My best wishes are with you. Right? So many people tried. They could not become successful. And then this God brother comments that, do you know why Bhaktivedanta Swami got successful? He said, no. Then he said, because he had implicit faith on the power of the holy name. Because he had complete faith that the holy name is all powerful. It can transform the hearts of anyone and everyone. Right? It can transform the hearts of even animals. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu even made animals also chant what to say of the human beings. Right? So even they are hippies, they may be into intoxication, meat eating, all these wrong activities. It is said that hippies would, means once someone asked Srila Prabhupada that what hippie is all about. So Srila Prabhupada smiled. He said, you know better than me. One reporter asked. And then Srila Prabhupada started laughing. He said, hippie means something extraordinary. So of course, great devotees of Lord, they don't like to criticize or point out the faults. They are free from the criticizing tendencies. That's why Prabhupada would always see everyone in a very positive way. He would just see that spark of Krishna consciousness, not looking at the negativities. But the point is, hippie means something really extraordinary. We cannot, means in India, now also that type of thing is not there. Can you imagine a person who has not taken bath for few months, right? He is wearing, perhaps he is wearing the same clothes, right? And if he comes from a distance, you may come to know that he is coming, right? And he is just into maybe intoxication, right? He drinks, he sleeps, he gets up, drinks, again he sleeps, gets up, drinks, again he sleeps, and all his daily activities are at one place only. Can you imagine? That is what is a hippie, right? So Srila Prabhupada had that faith. That's why he could transform them. Others could have rejected them. They would have felt, oh, ये इसका कोई hope नहीं है. It is hopeless case, right? But then Srila Prabhupada said nothing is hopeless because the holy name is all powerful. It can transform the hearts of anyone, no matter whoever he is, whether he is a hippie or even he is an animal. That faith Srila Prabhupada had, right? And this ISKCON movement actually manifested because of the implicit faith of Srila Prabhupada on the will of his, on the desire of his spiritual master, on the instructions of his spiritual master, on the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, on the instructions of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, on the Guru Parampara, on the principles of Krishna consciousness, on the principles of Vaishnavism. That's why this entire movement actually got established and flourished, right? And for us also, now also it is like that. We can survive in this movement and we can be happy in this movement if we have that understanding that Krishna's will is inconceivable, right? Especially when people are ISKCON managers, right? So there is so much of uncertainty. They deal with lot of uncertainty, actually, because of the voluntary nature of the management and so many things, because everything is voluntary, right? So there is so much of uncertainty. Sometimes people, unka हवाइयाँ उड़ जाता है. Like we say in Hindi, they are like completely blank. Now what to do, right? But then if they have that faith, Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. If they had faith that Krishna is inconceivable, Krishna's potencies are inconceivable, and if Krishna wills, anything can get manifested. I just have to become an instrument. When Pandavas, they faced the Kauravas, it says that it was almost impossible for the Pandavas to win because Kauravas had all the greatest and best of the warriors with them. Their army strength was also more, right? It is said like these all great warriors were like Timingala fish. Timingala fish, we have never experienced what is Timingala fish, but it says that they can eat whales like, they eat whales. Can you imagine? So Timingala fish, right? So they were like Timingala fish who can devour everything. But still Pandavas, they won the battle, right? Because of the mercy of Krishna, which is very inconceivable. And if Krishna wills, everything is possible. When Jayadratha was, we know that when they killed Abhimanyu, Arjuna became very disturbed. right? And then he took a vow that now I will take the revenge. So he said, by tomorrow, I will kill Jayadratha or I will enter into fire, right? So he took that vow, and then it says that he was very disturbed. So then devotees of Krishna, sometimes they take vow, and Krishna has to worry how to fulfill the vow, right? So he took the vow. Then Krishna was in anxiety. Now, अब क्या करना है? He has taken the vow. Now we have to fulfill it. Otherwise, he will enter into fire, right? So then next day, and Kauravas also came to know that Arjuna has taken that mighty vow that if I kill, then only I will stay. Otherwise, I will burn myself. I will enter into fire. So then they all planned. They said कि कुछ भी करके कल का दिन हमें ऐसा करना है कि they should not be able to kill Jayadratha. So they arranged the entire army. They arranged the entire Chakravyuh. And Jayadratha was at the last. Right? And then that day Arjuna was like, he was in some other form which people have never seen. It was like wholesale killing the Kaurava army. Right? And Kauravas, they were trying their best. Of course, nothing was working out. But then there are limitations. Right? And the war ends at the sunset. So the sun was about to set. And the battle was there. And Arjuna was about to reach Jayadratha. But sun was setting. Time was very less. Right? So then what happened? Then it was like as if Arjuna would have to enter fire. The battle was going on. And then Krishna, he does his inconceivable things. He covers the sun itself. So people started thinking, now sun has set. And Jayadratha, he became extremely happy, extremely pleased. So he came and he started dancing in front of Arjuna. Right? Earlier he was hiding behind. And then he became very happy. Arey, ab to ho gaya. Now it's done. The purpose is solved. He became so happy, he started dancing in front of Arjuna and Krishna. And then Krishna immediately removed the actually he had covered the sun. So he removed the covering, and then he says without any delay, you just kill him, and kill him in such a way that his neck, whatever his head is there, it should fall on the lap of his father who is doing tapasya somewhere in the forest or somewhere in the mountain. Right? And then Arjuna, he had no time to think. But Arjuna was like great devotee of Lord. So he would blindly follow whatever Lord would say. Immediately did it. Before Jayadratha was still celebrating, before he could react, he didn't even get time to think or react. He could not even understand that the arrow is coming. The Arjuna is trying to shot an arrow towards me. He could not get even a fraction of second to react. It could not even उसके दिमाग में process भी नहीं हुआ. By the time his head was out, his head was cut, and his head was flying in the air. Right? And then it went flying and it fell on the lap of his father who was doing tapasya. It was all possible by the inconceivable potencies of Krishna. Because he was not knowing, perhaps he was not knowing that his father had taken a vow, or his father was having benediction that anyone who makes the head of my son fall on the ground, his head will crack into pieces. That was the benediction he was having. So Krishna took care of even that detail also. Right? It went into and fell on the lap of his father. His father, ये कहाँ से आ गया? एकदम से if some head falls on your lap, what will be your reaction? You will throw it immediately. Right? And then he was the one who threw the head. So his head got cracked. And he died. Right? So that is what is the inconceivable potencies of Krishna. Mahabharata, if we see the war of, even when Karna was fighting a war, when Karna was having battle with Arjuna, so there was one, Takshak came. And Takshak was actually wanting to attack Arjuna. I don't know, there was some enmity with Arjuna and Takshaka. Something was there, I forgot the detail. So then Takshak thought how to confront Arjuna, right? So then there was a battle going on between Arjuna and Karna. Takshaka sat on the arrow. When Karna was about to fire the arrow towards Arjuna, he sat on the arrow of Karna. So already that arrow was infested with mantra and the power of Karna, and Takshaka was there also on that, right? And then it says that arrow was very, 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 very powerful, right? No one could face it, right? So then the arrow came charging towards Arjuna, and Krishna came to know. And Krishna, he just pushed his feet on the chariot, and chariot got, it went below the ground, right? Chariot dhas gaya zameen par. And then it just missed the head of Arjuna. It hit the helmet of Arjuna and went past. Everyone was shocked. Said it was a very close save, right? So then who did it? It was Krishna who did it. Krishna was protecting him. So that's why we as devotees should always have that faith. That's why we are practicing Krishna consciousness. It is said that I have heard Gaurang Prabhu several times saying that it is like faith, right? So sometimes, just like an investment, what do? We invest money. We invest some money. Some investment has to be there. Whatever it is, less or more, but some investment should be there, right? And when you invest, then the returns come. The money grows, right? And then you further invest. Further money grows. Further invest, further money grows, right? So similarly, in Krishna consciousness, we should have that investment of faith. Faith in the process of Krishna consciousness. Faith in the practices of Krishna consciousness. Faith in the chanting of the holy name. Faith in reading of scriptures. Faith in Srimad Bhagvatam. Faith in the mercy of Vaishnavas, Srila Prabhupada, the spiritual master. Faith in the words of a spiritual master, right? All these are subtle things which we may not be able to understand, right? Once I was told, I was facing some problem, so I was told, you start hearing. I said, how can hearing solve my problem? My problem is practical, and hearing is something. How can hearing solve? How can hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam or hearing of lectures of a spiritual master can solve my practical problem? But I thought, okay, let me try, even if I don't have faith. So I tried, and it actually worked. It actually worked, right? So that's why having faith is very important, right? Whatever we are doing, any service we are doing, faith, right? Because when we still remember, when we came here, I was sharing with devotees, nothing was there, no resources, everything was lacking. Now, by Krishna's will, everything is coming. How it is coming? Because Krishna's will is inconceivable. Krishna's potencies are inconceivable. Krishna is sending everything here. We just need to do our part. So that's why, as devotees, and everywhere, right? Everywhere, when we are doing services, even when we are, like I was discussing with some devotees, Madhavendra Puri had that Ajagar Vritti, which is said that he would not do endeavor for his personal maintenance. That is what is the tendency of a devotee. He does lot of endeavor for service of Krishna, but he doesn't have interest. It's not that he is very proud or he wants to test Krishna. He doesn't have that interest. He doesn't feel worth it. He feels, and he is so absorbed in serving Krishna that sometimes he forgets about worrying about his own maintenance, right? So that is what the dependence on Krishna at the extreme level, at the highest level, we can say. Yes, we cannot do that. For us, we are limited. We are still advancing and struggling in our Krishna consciousness. Yes, but still it says in in Nectar of Instruction about Atyahara Prayasascha Prajalpo Niyamagraha, right? So prayas. So that's why a devotee, he has to do endeavor for maintaining himself, but not over endeavor. There it has to stop. right? Over endeavor means you don't have faith on Krishna. A devotee, he does his best and leaves the rest on Krishna. Right? Sometimes people say, Prabhuji, what is the use of doing the things? Sometimes exam is there. People get idea, Arey, Bhagwan hai na, dekh lega. Krishna is there, he will take care. Let me not study. Let me nicely take rest. Right? And then he goes and gives exam, he fails in exam. And then he comes back, Prabhuji, I had complete faith in the words of Krishna. Yes, you had complete faith. Go and jump from the top of the building and Krishna will be there to protect you. Right? So Krishna, he never encourages his devotees to become irresponsible. His expectation is the devotees should do their endeavor and they should do their part under the guidance of Vaishnavas. Right? Whatever as instructed by that Vaishnavas and the spiritual master. And then after doing their best, they have to leave the rest on Krishna. Because for us, our success and failure is not dependent on the results. Our success and failure depends upon whether it is pleasing to the spiritual master and Krishna or not. That is what is our success. Srila Prabhupada was struggling for 40 years. No results were coming. Still he was very successful. He came out with flying colors. Because his spiritual master and Krishna was very pleased with him. Right? Manifestation of results is, it doesn't take so much time. Krishna can use his potency. If he can do anything, he can use his potencies also to manifest the results. Nothing so great about it. Right? But our success and failure, it lies in our doing the best. Right? Sometimes people start thinking, okay, is Krishna testing me? Is Krishna punishing me? Is that? Sometimes there are difficult situations in the lives of Vaishnavas and devotees. They start getting a thought, Arey, is Krishna punishing me? No. Krishna is not a punisher. He is very wonderful person. He is not a sadist person who loves punishing people. But yes, he will put you in certain difficult situations. What is his purpose? What is his purpose? His purpose is, does he want to make you suffer? That is the purpose? I don't think so. Right? The purpose is, Krishna wants to see how you react to those situations. What is your response? Right? He may put you in difficult situations and then he wants to see that whatever you have learned in Krishna consciousness, are you able to apply? Are you able to behave in a Vaishnava way? Are you able to deal in a Krishna conscious way? Are you able to respond to the situations in a Krishna conscious way? That's what he wants to see. And the moment you respond in a Krishna conscious way, the test is over. Next test will come. That's why in the life of devotees we have seen, it's like as soon as the devotee starts responding in a Krishna conscious manner, everything magically disappears. Because he has done his part. He has done his part of whatever principles he has learned, whatever Vaishnava principles he has learned, he has done his part of responding as per those Vaishnava principles. He has done his part of responding as per the will of spiritual master and Krishna. That's it. That is what is his success. Even though he may be failure in the eyes of the materialistic people, but he is successful because he has given the right response. When Parikshit Maharaj was cursed, externally looking, he should have cursed the person back, or he should have taken the revenge. But he didn't do anything. Still he was successful. Why he was successful? Because he responded in a very Vaishnava and Krishna conscious manner. He responded, he became grateful. He said, okay, this is an opportunity for me to become more Krishna conscious. Till now I was involved in so many activities. Now let me become completely focused. And let me hear. And many people don't know when they are going to die. At least I know. Let me focus my complete energy on Krishna. Complete attention on Krishna. And similarly for the Pandavas. Right? They responded everywhere. All these, why all these great devotees, what they are teaching through their example in Srimad Bhagvatam. If you read Srimad Bhagvatam, the lives of devotees were filled with troubles, trials, problems, difficulties. We see the life of Chitraketu. The moment he surrendered to Krishna, problems started. Right? He was cursed. He became a demon. Devotees started misunderstanding him. And can you imagine what was his duty? His duty was to fight against the devotees. For a devotee, for a Vaishnava who is a true Vaishnava, he can never imagine to hurt other devotees. And his duty was to fight with other devotees. Vritrasur. Right? But he was grateful. His response was always a Krishna conscious response. When he was cursed, he responded in a Krishna conscious way. Right? And when he took birth as Vritrasur, again he responded in a very Krishna conscious manner. He rather gave Bhagvatam. Who has can you imagine? Who can be so non-envious? If someone has come to kill you, he is your enemy, will you go and give him Bhagvatam class? Will you tell him the knowledge of Krishna consciousness? Will you feel compassionate for him? Vritrasura was feeling compassionate for Indra. He doesn't know proper philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Let me tell him. Let me educate him in the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. That was the perfect Krishna conscious response. And that's why even though he left his body, he was because it was the benediction. Benediction was there. So that's why he had to leave his body as per the will of Krishna. But then he was successful. He came out with flying colors. Why? Because it pleased, whatever he did, it pleased Krishna and Guru. Similarly, when Prithu Maharaj was there, Prithu Maharaj, he could have defeated Indra. But following the instructions of Brahmaji, he surrendered. And he made a friendship with Indra. He came out with flying colors. Although externally, he was not successful. Right? So that's why our success, our failure doesn't depend upon what is as per the definition of the materialistic people. Our success, our failure depends upon whether it is pleasing to the spiritual master and Krishna, and if it is pleasing, we don't have to worry about anyone else, whether it pleases them or not, right? It doesn't matter at all. Whoever is speaking, whatever is speaking, it doesn't matter, right? We have done our part, and slowly everyone will understand. It's okay, right? When Bhishma was there, so Bhishma was also misunderstood. Many people misunderstood Bhishma. He was given that role of opposing the devotees. Many people still consider Bhishma as a so-called villain because he supported the Kauravas. He didn't support the Pandavas, right? But whatever Bhishma did was pleasing to Krishna. And that's why Krishna came when he was about to leave his body. And that was the greatest benediction. And that's why he was successful. Even though in the eyes of the world, people may misunderstand him. He was defeated. He was unsuccessful. Right? But in the eyes of Krishna, he was successful. Even Arjuna, when he was going for this thing, with this I'll just finish. When he was going for when he was bringing the wives of Krishna, after Krishna left, he was bringing the wives of Krishna and he got defeated. He got defeated. Right? So, success and failure, all these things are like external. For Krishna, if he wants, he can immediately start manifesting success. Everything can start working, and you may wonder, earlier nothing was working out, and now everything is working. Is it not magical? Is it not inconceivable? Right? So, it's like that. And we can see, if we stay here for 4-5 years, we can see the will, inconceivable will and potencies of Krishna manifesting. Last time when we celebrated Gaur Purnima festival last year, 800 people. This time, 6,000 people. Last year when we did Janmashtami, I don't know how many people came. Maybe 30, 40, I don't know. Maybe 5-10,000, I don't know. This time we are targeting 1 lakh people. Right? It is growing more than exponentially also. I don't know. There is exponential growth. I think it is more than that also. It is simply inconceivable. We still remember when we celebrated our Gaur Purnima festival. This kutir was the stage. And 150-200 people came. And then we had some, we called for the sound system from nearby village. Just ordinary sound system. It was creating a lot of noises. We were doing kirtans. And now, big stage, so many people, cultural program, everything going so wonderful. Right? And it is all by the will of Krishna. So that's it. So as devotees, if we have that faith, then we can always remain peaceful. We can always remain happy. We can always remain satisfied. A devotee, he always, sometimes the lives of a devotee is like a roller coaster, up, down, up, down, up, down. What is the attitude of a devotee? He's just a patient observer. A devotee has to be patient observer. Patient observer means he does his part. He does his endeavors and then he waits and observes. What does he observe? He observes what is the will of Krishna in this situation. And the will of Krishna, he waits patiently for the will of Krishna to unfold. He may not be able to understand the will of Krishna. Sometimes he may understand also, sometimes he may not understand. But he patiently waits and watches. Okay, let me try to understand what is the will of Krishna. And the will of Krishna unfolds itself, unwinds itself, manifests itself in due course of time. So when he is down, when he is up, every time he is like a silent observer. He keeps observing. When he is down, he understands Krishna is preparing me for that up. Because if I go up, I will become proud. I may fall down. So in down, he is making me strong so that I can survive that up in my life. Right? So up and down, up and down. We have to always remain like a silent observer, doing our part and then observe. Observe, wait, be patient and wait for the will of Krishna to unmanifest. Wait for the will of Krishna to unwind. And it may just take some time and you will be able to understand. And Krishna's will is the best. Krishna's will is something which can do best for the entire world. What to say of all of us? Just we have to wait and watch, having full faith that Krishna's things are best. And if we have surrendered to Krishna, then everything will be wonderful. It's just a matter of time. So thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagvatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.